What's going on? It's your main man, IC Jones. Welcome to Hot Seat with IC Jones right here on hot7025fm.com. Thank you for tuning in every Thursday morning, 11 a.m. You know, this special guest here today, man, been a pillar in the community, been doing a thing, been watching from afar and up close. And I just want to go ahead and give her a huge shout out for everything that she does for all of us, and especially our African American community, and for having the best grits in the city. I have Miss Trina Jiles in the building.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, owner and founder of Gritz Cafe on Stella Lake Drive. Yeah.
Yes.
All right now. So let's go ahead and start with like what's the inspiration behind you actually saying I'm gonna start a business based on grits?
Oh my goodness. So my sister Gwen Bramo, she owns Expertise Cosmetology where Gritz Cafe is located.
Right.
And she was building the building from ground up. She
Right.
said, I'll have a retail spot. There's 5 sisters and brothers. We decided, she asked who wants to use the spot to open their own business.
Okay.
And at the time, I was at the fire department still. And I thought, oh, okay, I'm off. I only work 10 days a month. I'll open a snack shop for the students. And we'll just do like pizza, hamburgers, hot dogs, ice cream, some quick takeout stuff.
Correct.
And one morning, I made breakfast during the same time for my boyfriend's uncle.
Okay.
And he said, these are the best grits I've ever tasted.
Okay.
And from there, I was like, oh, yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll open a restaurant and I'll call it Grits.
Right.
And that's what happened. And from that moment on, and then his sister said, and put a Z at the end.
Okay.
Her name is Tinkerbell, but
Okay.
that's not a real name. But so Tink said, put a Z at the end. And then I started thinking, so we really don't have any, and this was in 2005,
Okay.
soul food breakfast places.
Right.
And because my mom's from the South, but I'm born and raised here in Las Vegas, I decided to make all of the plates Southern inspired. So we have the Mississippi, which is the catfish, the Kentucky, obviously, which is the chicken, Louisiana, which is the hot link, and I just slept and breathed grits for 2 years. I put it on
Wow.
paper November 2005.
Yeah.
Didn't open our doors until January 2008.
Okay.
And that's how it happened. I
Right.
don't have any formal training
Okay.
in restaurant ownership.
Right.
I never worked for, actually, I worked for a food court,
Okay.
but
Like
I
in the
didn't-
mall?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Actually, yeah, as a matter of fact, in the mall. And that was it. But
Okay.
I like to eat and I like to cook.
Got it.
So
Well, that
that's
works.
yeah.
That works for sure because I like to cook too. So, and I like to eat.
Yes.
So, I'm sorry for the loud noise. I had to open up this shrimp grit bowl. My apologies to my audience. Listen, this food right here is my favorite from this spot. Just so, I don't know, delicious, delectable. I don't know the words to express this shrimp grits and cheese, and if you want you can get the egg in that thing, right? And then you season it to your own perfection even though it's already seasoned with the grilled shrimp. What's your favorite off your menu?
Oh my goodness. So my favorite is the catfish.
Okay.
I love fried catfish. I actually probably eat a piece every day because
Okay.
I have to taste the quality.
Right.
Make sure the quality control is on point.
Right.
But the catfish is my favorite. The grilled shrimp bowl
Okay.
is
Yes.
really popular. That's our #1 seller out of all of our grit bowls.
Talk about it.
And the chicken and waffle.
Okay.
But my favorite is the catfish. The catfish, well, I kind of cheat. So I do 1 piece of catfish, 1 piece of chicken, mac and cheese, yams, greens, and cornbread. That's that whole combination. I just tell them, give me a scoop of everything.
Okay. So that's your own type of
Right.
bowl. Got it. So we ain't got
Right.
we can't get a Trina bowl.
Right, we might have to put one together.
We're gonna have to put that on the secret menu.
A Trina plate.
Yeah, you heard it first right here on Hot Seat with IC Jones. Thank y'all for tuning in. And I appreciate you as well for having an advertising slot. You
You're
know what I mean?
welcome.
We've been
My
running
pleasure.
that. And, you know, people have been leaving here going to Gritz. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Very excited about that. So, firefighter or fire department?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, retired fire investigator, but
Right.
I started off as a firefighter. I was the first black female firefighter for the Clark County Fire Department.
Right.
LaTanya Lister, she was the first in the entire state for the city. I was the second in the state. And then after 6 years, I went into investigations, where all we do is figure out how the fire starts. Which is a lot of work.
Yes.
You know, it's forensics. You have to collect evidence. You have
Right.
to know the law.
Right.
And I retired February 2017. So the fire department, and we work 24-hour shifts. So the fire
Yeah.
department really gave me the opportunity to expand Gritz and to also have the time to run a business as well as working a full-time job.
Right.
I was burning the candle at both ends because it was a lot, but
Right.
I feel like I'm working more now that I'm retired than I did beforehand when I was working both.
You running that thing, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's fun.
So, was that like a childhood dream? Because some kids be like, I'm going to be a firefighter.
No.
Okay, so what happened?
Never.
How'd you do that?
Well, number one,
She
I
said
didn't even
never.
know. Right? I grew up saying I'm going to enter beauty pageants. I'm going to be a model. I knew I was going to be a business owner because I did go to school and get an associate's degree in business management. And I did that right out of school before I became a firefighter.
Okay.
But I was working for the county, and the professional black firefighters came in recruiting, and they asked me, "Sister, would you like to become a firefighter?" And at the time, you know, I looked at my nails, which, you know, my nails are just as important now as they were then. And I said, no, thank you. And Sam Smith, rest in peace, he was the deputy fire marshal for Clark County Fire Department.
Okay.
And he said, there are no black women in the entire state. At the time, there were none. And I was like, really?
So let's make history.
Exactly. And that was my motivation. The test was actually exactly 3 months away.
Okay.
I went to his bookstore, picked up the book on how to become a firefighter,
Okay.
which taught me all of the tools, the math. I went to his class twice a week. And then we started pulling hose up and down D Street. And I started learning fire hose techniques. I started learning how to carry a ladder, throw a ladder, how to uncouple and couple hoses, things that were foreign to me as a girl, number one, but anyone who doesn't have any fire knowledge. So that was like my number one motivation.
So wait a minute. You were still working at the county?
Yes.
While doing this training on your own?
Yes.
On the side?
Yes.
And about to go do this test in 3 months?
Exactly.
You've been a grinder.
Well, I mean, I figured, you know, whatever you want, you kind of have to sacrifice for. So I just put all my efforts into that. And his thing was, you know, you work 10 days a month. It's a great career. Plus, girls need to see that there are women in the fire service. So it was very rewarding watching the little girls and them saying, "Oh my gosh, you're a girl," after I took off my helmet, you know. So it's like,
right.
Oh my, well, not helmet because I ride motorcycles too, but my, you know.
All right now.
Right.
Don't hurt nobody.
But yeah, so I just kind of felt like I maybe at a young age I always was persistent in what I wanted to do, but I didn't grow up wanting to become a firefighter at all.
So people may, you know, have their own perception, right? You got people trying to count your pockets. You feel me? People trying to figure out a net worth, right? And all these other things. What's your perception of rich?
Oh my gosh, rich is peace.
Yeah.
And you can be wealthy financially and still not at peace.
Yeah.
You can be rich with riches and the finer things. I love to shop, so I like nice purses and shoes. That's my biggest issue is the purses and shoes.
Got it.
But from a standpoint of rich, happiness really didn't come for me until I decided to not worry about things that were beyond my control
Mm.
and to become a little bit more family oriented because I had put my business and career at the forefront for a long time. So when I made the choice to retire early, I retired at 44 years old.
Right.
So I put my efforts into my son, who was 16 at the time,
Okay.
and he was without his mom for the first 16 years of his life because I worked at the fire department 15 days on average a month. But I worked 24-hour shifts, so
Yeah.
I was gone a lot out of
Yeah.
his life.
Right.
So I feel right now I'm rich because my son is happy and
Yeah.
healthy.
Yeah.
My business is thriving. It's not perfect,
Yeah.
but I'm able to do the things that I enjoy doing
Right.
for the most part, you
Right.
know. And so my definition of rich is peace
Yeah.
and having family time, like rich in love,
Yeah.
most importantly.
Right. So, how many people have you employed since you opened your doors? Like, how many families have been able to change their economical, weather?
Well, I can't tell you. I can tell you the restaurant industry has a high turnover rate just because of the money that's made there. I can't pay everyone a lot,
Yeah.
but I do pay my employees above minimum wage. I start all my
Hey.
cashiers out at $10 an hour.
Hey.
And I believe in that because I know how hard it is to raise a family and
Yeah.
to feed a family.
Yeah.
So right now I have 13 employees.
Okay.
We're looking to expand here in the future, so soon
right.
to have 20 employees.
All right.
So there are families that are being fed,
Yeah.
and I'm thankful for that
Right.
because I know the struggle, and sometimes we don't always get a second chance.
Right.
So I believe in that too. I believe in giving people a second chance, maybe a third chance,
Right.
depending on the circumstances.
Right.
And then my blessings always come tenfold from
Yeah.
that.
Because
They
I'm
really
looking at it in the African American community, you have really helped families. When they get hired there and they do their job and you pay that check,
Yeah.
that feeds their family in
Well,
our
thank
African American community. So thank you. You know
You're
what I mean,
welcome.
for doing
Thank
what you do.
Because I never really looked at. I know I'm an employer, but when I help, a lot of times it's not even the people that work for Gritz. It's people who are less advantaged. Maybe going through a hardship. We have a fund called the Gritz Together Fund. It was in memory of my brother who was murdered in 2006.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that.
And it's called GRIT stands for Guiding Our Youth, Restoring Community Pride, Involving the People, Trust in Law Enforcement, and Safety for All. And we give a portion of our profit every first Tuesday of the month towards, the goal initially was to give towards unsolved homicides
Okay.
in the community because people don't talk until it happens to them. Now
Yep.
they want people to talk.
Yep.
But we have to communicate. We can't let criminals destroy our community, which happens all the time.
Yes.
So the funds are available for that, but what they have been going towards more than not is to help people bury their loved ones
Got
who
it.
are
Going-
victims of crime
Okay.
or just don't have the insurance.
Correct.
So we're thankful that we're able to write checks to the
Yeah.
mortuaries to say this is for this particular
Yeah.
family to bury
Yeah.
their family.
Are you partnered with a mortuary, so to speak, or just whoever the family chooses?
Just whoever the family chooses, and then I just say, tell me where
Yeah.
your loved one is, and we'll write a check.
Look at that heart. You got a
So-
heart of grits, girl.
Okay, thick. No.
You feel me? Nah, that's real. That's
Yeah,
real.
because a lot of us don't realize we need insurance. So
So, why in the greater West Las Vegas area? Like, people always got something to say about it. People that tourists that come here never even been over there. Why there in the heart of the West Side?
Well, number one, I was born and raised in Las Vegas on the west side.
Talk
in
about
Valley
it.
View.
Me too. Talk about it.
In Valley View, so nothing will ever change that.
Veronica Street.
By no means do I feel bad from where I grew up and how I grew up. My mother was a single mom who Ended up owning 3 profitable businesses, all on the west side.
Yeah.
And so Smart Start Child Care was my mom most known child care, where we were open 24 hours, and we provided child care. It was off of Owens and MLK.
Mm-hmm.
We provided child care to kids in our community.
That's y'all spot right behind that store when it used to be Turtle Stop. And
Yeah, that's my mom's.
Wow.
And it was there for like 20 years.
Yeah.
So she's raised a lot of kids on the
Talk
west
about
side.
it.
So when we talk about economic development, we have to start at home.
Yes.
And that's what she taught us. Number one, she taught us don't let your circumstances keep you from accomplishing your mission.
Okay.
She was a single mom. She could have collected welfare with 6 kids, but she didn't. She went on to work and open a beauty school, help my sister open a salon, open a daycare center. She's owned a flower shop, a dress retail shop. Whatever she wanted to do, she accomplished. All in our community, all of our businesses except one, which was expertise. Not expertise, but Smart Start. No, not Smart Start. I'm getting all the businesses mixed up. Anyway, my sister's first
Guys and Dolls.
Yeah, Guys and Dolls. See, you even know about Guys and Dolls. My sister's first salon my mother bought for her. So all of our businesses have been in the community. So why the west side? Why not
Yes.
the west side?
Yes.
And economic development, we have to, everyone wants to come to an area that is not doing so well for gentrification purposes to build it up.
Yeah.
But when you're already there, you have a greater sense of pride in the people that live there.
Yeah.
At any given day, you can come in Gritz and see somebody you haven't seen in years because it's the community's cafe.
Yes. I love it. The community's cafe.
It is. It really is. Like, they tell everything. People tell me, so they're playing NWA and Gritz. I'm like, no, they're not. Yes, ma'am. I know you guys. I'm on the phone with them immediately. Are you guys on the rap station? Oh, Miss Trina, I'm sorry. It's switched over. So, and because they have no idea. I know everybody, you know.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. People.
Kiss My Grits. We was in the movie together. You remember that? Institutionalized. Yeah. That was dope.
That was cool.
It was.
Yeah.
So
that was fun too.
It was. What do you think about Stretch Sanders? What do you think about
I like him. I like Minister Sanders. I'll be speaking at the 1,000 Women's March on the 31st.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. I've been thinking, like, what message do I want to put out there for my 2 minutes of inspiration to the women? And I think that I want to direct it towards our younger women, the younger generation, because I find that they're the ones who could use the most encouragement to not give up on their dreams, and kind of to have a little bit more self-respect. They're bigger than what their body looks like, you know, and so I will be talking to the girls, you know, the girls who I can relate to, because I've made some of the same mistakes maybe that they're making now. And you know, bad choices don't have to continue, but you can actually change the path at any given moment. You just have to make the decision to do so. So
absolutely.
I'm looking forward to it. So I like Stretch.
Definitely.
And I'm definitely happy for him. And he's young and he's inspired and he's very well spoken and he's driven. So
we want everybody to vote
Stretch
for him.
For mayor. Stretch for mayor.
We want everybody to vote. Get out there.
Stretching
April 2nd.
for greatness.
Yeah, stretching for greatness. Stretching for a mayor.
Yeah.
Hey.
Right. I like that song.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really do. That was a nice tune.
What is the most devastating thing that Trina has been through in her life that she had to get up and say, you know what, I'm gonna keep moving?
Oh my gosh. Well, something for me that I probably don't talk about that was devastating. I was engaged to a man who I consider was the love of my life. I went on social media. We were so happy. And I had to make the decision that he wasn't the right man for me after I had exposed our private life, my private life, which I'm really usually pretty private about. And so it's, we're coming up on a year that this happened. In July, we were engaged. And so I'm really now just kind of processing everything still. But that was devastating, like even still, you know? It's the whole just having to say, okay, there's no wedding. Every day people come into Gritz. When is the wedding? When are you getting married? I saw you got engaged and it was on social media. So I'm just remembering like my private life is really important to me and not to put that out there like that anymore.
Okay.
If I do get married or something like that, it's going to be private.
Okay.
You know, and because it's a lot of stress on someone too who's well known in the community.
Right.
And everywhere you go, oh, you're Trina's boyfriend. You're Trina's boyfriend. No, I got my own identity. I have my own business. I have my own life.
Right.
You know, so now I'm understanding the importance of privacy in relationships.
Right.
Away from social media, no matter how popular you are as an individual in the community.
Yeah.
You know, some stuff you just have to keep private.
What's the longest relationship you've been in?
11 years.
11 years.
Yeah, my son's father, and actually, which is so weird, we were together for 11 years. I never married him, but we had my son, and then we never got back together.
Wow.
So I had my child at 28 years old, but I was with him from like 17 to 28.
Wow. What's your but God situation where it was like, you know what, that was nobody but God, girl?
Ooh. I've had so many situations like that on fire scenes. I've had situations like that as an investigator, but as a firefighter, we were breaching a wall to a structure that contained a lot of oxygen tanks, and it was on fire. And when we breached the wall and went in, we're surrounded by all of these oxygen canisters. And I was like, oh, wow, thank you, Jesus. Like, God, thank you, because it was like, you know, it was going right into the pack of wolves. We breached the wall, and here we're standing in a smoke-filled environment full of oxygen tanks. And they're projectiles when they heat up. Obviously, everybody know oxygen and fire doesn't mix. As an investigator, I've had some close calls as well. Okay. But I think for me, I'm really intuitive. So as an investigator, we've had situations where I've gone to a scene. I had a guy who was murdered and put in the back of his trunk, and his house was set on fire. Wow. And they're saying, oh, he's not home. He's not home. And I kept looking around. And I'm like, he's here somewhere. Like, I felt his spirit. And I even still, like, feel like that with a lot of people that I've had to go into their homes after they've passed away. But this particular guy was in his trunk. He had been shot and set on fire. His vehicle was charred. No one had found him. And I kept saying, he's around here somewhere. And just so happened, I'm looking in the vehicle, and it's all burned out, no upholstery, anything. And I see like one little speck of blood coming from the inside, the interior from the trunk. And I said, that I think that we found him. And they opened the trunk, and there's this guy in there. And sometimes I think, but God, but I know that's exactly things. He has all the power. So he's guiding me to do things that normally, you know, I would just think that was luck, or no. And becoming a paramedic after realizing how intricate the body is and how we work. If you don't believe in God, I'm sorry. Right. Sorry for you, because there is a God, and he is very detailed, and the plan is real for us.
Talk about that.
Every organ, everything works in sync perfectly.
Did you grow up a believer, or
I did.
Did you go away from it and have to come back, rededicate?
I have.
Yeah,
I have.
How was that walk?
Well, that walk for me happened when I was I believe I was 16. I just got in my first car at a stop sign. Here comes a van, and it plowed into me in the middle of the intersection, turned me around, coming out of Valley View, like right there on, I think, Van or that top street coming from. And that same night, I went to church, and I didn't look back. But before that, I was a little wild, you know. And after that, I'm like, so I can just be sitting at an intersection waiting for a light, and a man can come and
take you out.
take me out at any moment.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm always conscious of that. My mother, we went to church every Sunday, every Wednesday. If you didn't go to church, you didn't go outside. Okay. Don't think about going outside if you don't go to church. So I went out. I went to church quite a bit, and then I've strayed, and I've come back,
Yeah.
and I've tried to rationalize my own way
Okay.
of thinking about certain situations.
Yeah.
And each time, it's always God that gets me through my rough times.
Got it.
Every time.
Nobody but God.
But God.
I have a favor to ask you on air.
Yes.
Can you please refer your sister to me?
I will, Gwen.
Expertise.
I will.
Yeah,
I will.
I need to get her in this seat,
Okay.
and need to get her. When is she opening?
They just opened their second location Tuesday.
Okay.
Yes.
Dope. They had a grand opening on Tuesday?
No, but when we have the grand opening, you'll know. I'll get you an invite.
Thank you.
But no, they've just moved over to the new location.
100.
So
Yeah, I love it.
now we're gonna start
love it.
expanding Grits.
Right.
Yeah.
So what that look like? 2019 or 2020?
No, 2020. No,
Okay.
2019.
Is that
We're
right?
thinking. I'm thinking 90-day build out, 120 days max. We should be by the end of summer open.
Hey, you got the location already?
In our current location, we're gonna knock the south
Oh, you're
wall
gonna
out,
expand. Okay.
and then I'll, because I'm really stretched thin, so I figure expand the first location, get
Yeah.
that up and running, and then open a new location.
Okay.
We were thinking about doing them both at the same time, but that would just be crazy for
Overwhelming.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you have a woman out there, single mom. You know what I mean? She's just trying to climb this ladder in life, right? The relationship life, the parental life, the business life. You know what I mean? What are you gonna tell her to encourage her?
Number one, pray. I have found that when I pray, there's a calmness that helps me to make choices that I probably would not make if I didn't have if I wasn't being directed by God's word. So number one, if you're a believer, pray on it.
Okay.
And you have to believe in yourself. Number one, you can't allow other people's opinions to affect your dream and what you want in life.
Talk about it.
Because there's a lot of pain and hurt going on right now in our country and people's lives individually. And even just with the stresses of social media, social media isn't real. It's what we want you to see, but I don't put my worst situations on social media, So you have to believe that you're worthy, number one, of your dream, but you also have to put a plan together, and you have to believe in yourself. Yeah. And if you're around a man or friends who aren't bringing anything positive to the table, then you're around the wrong people. And I was told this, if you're the most successful one in your group, then your group is too small.
Right.
So although I love my foundation, my real friends, the friends who know me from Trina to owner of Gritz or whatever, because I'm the same Trina no matter what.
Right.
But at the end of the day, some people are stuck in where they are. So sometimes the hardest thing to do is to make a decision to move forward. That doesn't mean you don't love that person or your friends that you used to hang out with, but it just means that you want to do something different, and you cannot hang out all day at home or watch your boyfriend play PlayStation all day or whatever and accomplish your goals. You just can't.
You just can't.
And if you have kids, even more so, we have to set the example for them.
Talk about
because they watch everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. How has social media affected you? Good or bad?
It's affected me good in some ways and bad in some ways. From my private life, I feel like people have a sense of wanting to know what's going on in my private life because they care about me publicly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there's a fine line between that. And then I like it too because I'm able to socialize with friends I haven't seen and don't see ever.
Right.
But on
right.
social media, so I know, oh, their kids are doing well. This is what they're doing. Oh, they went on vacation.
Yeah.
And then also it's helped me to grow my business.
Okay.
Like Gritz has taken off strictly because our customers post and talk well of Gritz. So
Right.
it's all word of mouth
Right.
communication. So I love social media. It just has to be a balance.
Yeah.
And I was once told, like, okay, you have a public page, you have a page that's your personal page,
Yep.
and you have a business page.
Yep.
And she said, but your personal page can't all be, it has to contain people who look at your business page, they want to know who you are personally.
Yeah.
So they're still are intertwined.
Yeah.
You know, people will say, oh, that's the owner of Gritz. This is the business page. And then they're going to look you up to see, okay, what is this person about
Yep.
personally? So make sure you're putting your best foot forward, that you're conscious of the things that you put on social media, the things that you say, how you treat people, because it can come back to haunt you.
You have a publicist or a social media marketer?
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
I have friends who say, post this.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Do that one. That's a cute one. I'm like, okay.
Right.
But that's it. No, no publicist.
Well, I wish I had more time with you. I know you got to go and get it.
Right.
Are we able to do like a, I guess like a block party at Gritz, like in the parking lot or something?
Yeah, yes. We've had that before.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, so I would love to, like, just tell me when and we
Okay.
can make it happen.
Yeah, let's do it. So you're
Yeah.
open from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m.?
Yes, Gritz is open every day from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. We're at 1911 Stella Lake Street. The cross streets are Lake Mead and MLK.
Right.
And we look forward to serving you catfish and grits, chicken and waffles, grit bowls,
Hey.
peach cobbler by Mr. Jeremy,
Hey.
all that good stuff. You know, we got to plug everybody.
Yeah.
So
I'm about to dig in on this commercial break.
okay.
So yeah, with that being said, thank you again
Thank you for
coming
having
down.
me.
Also follow Gritz Cafe on Instagram.
Yeah, so
and Facebook?
Gritz Cafe, at Gritz Cafe on Instagram, Gritz Cafe Facebook, and then we are Gritz Cafe Vegas on Twitter.
Okay, that's GRITZ Cafe, and the website.
Yes, www.gritzcafe.com.
Okay, they order through Grubhub and all of that too, or
We just do Postmates right
Postmates,
now,
okay.
but and DoorDash. Postmates and DoorDash.
okay,
Yeah.
for sure. Well, everybody, Trina Jiles,
Thank
the
you.
owner and founder of Gritz Cafe and a huge pillar in our community. Thank you very much for showing up with the Hot Seat with IC Jones right here, Hot 7025. We'll be right back after this commercial break. God bless y'all. See y'all in a minute.